Australia a police state, so let's go and watch this.
In Australia are now going to people's homes to allegedly question them about things that they've posted on social media.
Who's that?
Just the police, mate. How you going?
Good. What's your problem?
Oh, I don't have a problem. I just want to speak to Michael. Is that you?
Yeah, why?
I just want to come and speak to you about a few things it's come to our attention that may have been posted on social media.
I really don't care. I've got the right to freedom of speech. You can bugger off.
Absolutely. All right.
Okay, see ya.
Okay, mate.
Now, a lot of people are saying that that is fake, that's not real. And I watched that very closely then to see if I could find anything that perhaps, gave.
Yeah, I don't know. If you said that in real life, I think the police will arrest you on the spot. Yeah, it looks fake. But I could be wrong. I think it's fake. And I don't think anyone would be actually that rude. I mean, if people were like that, yeah, I would. Being rude is not going to help your case.
Gave me the impression that that was faked. The dude had a fucking gun. I don't think it's faked, but that has been doing the rounds all week online, and it is absolutely astonishing to see how many people are blown away by seeing something like that, knowing that the police can come to your house and talk to you, interview you, and possibly even arrest you, like we've seen in the UK, just based on what you post online. Now, obviously, if you're posting really awful shit like you're threatening someone, then yeah, okay, I understand why the police might turn up and arrest you.
Yeah, that I understand.
Apparently, allegedly, what this man actually posted about was something that was anti-Israel. And now, since the Bondi shooting, Australia's cracking down on anti-Semitism, whatever that happens to mean, and he's having the police show up because he questioned something about Israel. I think, and it's pretty obvious from everything I've ever posted, listen, I'm not pro-Israel, I'm not anti-Israel, I'm not pro-Gaza, pro-Palestinian, nothing. I'm not pro anyone, I'm hardly pro myself. Point being, we should be able to post whatever the fuck we want. We should have opinions that happen to be offensive to other people. This is a country that should be free, but it's not. I discovered this
of course
last
not.
week in a video that I made. You can watch it now on YouTube. All about free speech. And Australia is really trying to, stop people's free speech because it allegedly harms multiculturalism.
I recognise, and I've fully said from the beginning, that we don't have the same freedom of speech laws that they have in the United States. And the reason for that is that we want to hold together our multicultural community and have people live in peace, free from the kind of vilification.
No, sorry, that sounds like shit.
And hatred that we do see around the world.
And ladies and gents,
No. Free speech. There's nothing wrong with free speech as long as you're not doing it. As long as you're not calling the violence and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there are a lot of people I don't like and stuff like that. I mean, Jesus, I get a bit pissed off and I lose the train of thought. My train of thought always forgets me. I always lose it. Because, like right now, I'm losing it.
Before we go any further, my stand-up comedy special is
I'm not a big fan of it.
Check it out right here.
I'd rather have freedom of speech as long as you're not hatred.
We know very, very well that Australia has lost the fucking plot since the Bondi shooting. Now, this is just my opinion, but
yeah, that's true.
I've seen this happen time and time again. Anytime there's a terrorist attack or a horrible atrocity, something awful happens, people's civil liberties change forever, and those laws are never repealed, they're never changed, and forever you have lost those freedoms, and that is what we are seeing here. We will see more and more people visited by the police. We will see more and more people go, hang on a second, why can't I say that? Why can't I do this? I thought this was a free country. It's not. We need to do something about it, and it is my goal to start a petition to enshrine freedom of speech in our constitution, but that's a story for another time. Now, that video with old mate at the front door with the police, and this isn't shitting on the police, ladies and gentlemen, okay? You've got an impossible job. I'm not having a go at police. Big fan of police on this channel, etc., etc. But we have seen a lot of examples of police officers potentially. Yeah,
and that's also the other thing I have an issue with. Not so much the police. The police are doing their job, as he said. They do a good job for the most part. Yeah, I think this is a totally waste of their time. So they could be doing other things, more important things, hunting more criminals who actually were being hunted. I mean, I hate how they go after the people who do the best things, because I've got a mate, she does the best thing in the world. She does so much for her family, and she always gets shit on by the law. And it pisses me off in the end. Goodness gracious. My mum's ringing me. let's get back to it.
Actually, having new directions given to them and not knowing really what to do with them. Take this one, for example.
There are material that appears to be anti-Semitic.
What's anti-Semitic material?
Well, there's a small watermelon.
Did you see that look that copper gave then? He doesn't want to be doing that shit. Now, that small watermelon represents Palestine, obviously, and a lot of people have those watermelons in their Instagram bios or whatever. It's usually just above their giant tits, which take up the majority of their content. Point being, this is the type of shit that you can get in trouble for. Now, I don't
Apparently.
think you should ever be in trouble for these type of things. The police should be there, and this is why people join the police. This is what they get up and do every day. They should be there to protect the community, not instill fear because people are worried about what they can and cannot say. You should be able to have as many fucking little watermelons as you want. You should be able to criticize Israel. You should be able to criticize Palestine. You should be able to criticize anyone. I think most people who are either Israeli or have a connection to Israel, whatever, or even Jewish people would agree with me that you should be able to absolutely criticize Israel, and people should be able to debate you, and that's the whole point of a free society. As I get a cramp in my fucking hamstring. The massage. I don't know. I just hate it. I hate that we can't speak freely in this country. It does my fucking head in. I worry what this does to stand-up comedy. I worry what this does to online content. I worry what this does to the children that we're all, that millennials.
Oh, yeah, that would
they
be
grow up in a world where they know nothing of freedom of speech. They live in a world that the government decides what you can and cannot speak about, and that is awful.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean,
free speech absolutist. I think you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want, okay? As
Yeah,
long as
good.
It doesn't call for the harm of anyone. On the topic of
Yeah.
violence, this week in Australia, we saw a horrendous, absolutely horrendous thing happen on a Newcastle beach. Now, I'm from Newcastle. I live in Newcastle now. I love Newcastle. It's a beautiful part of the world. But here's the thing. A man was seen with a, rhymes with Yahtzee, tattoo on the back of his leg.
Oh,
It had the
God.
Yahtzee symbol, and it had the words WHITE, power. Now, of course, you can have black power, brown power, but you can't have the other one. I guess the Yahtzee party really ruined that for us whiteys. But here's the
yeah,
thing.
definitely.
This dipshit, whoever he fucking is, wearing that stuff, like obviously a flop, a dickhead, etc., someone you'd look at and go, whoa, the fuck's wrong with that bloke? He had someone call the police on him, and he was arrested for having that tattoo.
If found guilty, the 36-year-old could face up to a year behind bars.
Behind this blur, alleged Nazi hate symbols, SS bolts, and the words white power tattooed on his calf.
Self-evidently ridiculous that it would be illegal to put a Nazi symbol on a bedsheet, but you can put it on your body.
Okay, that's Chris Minns, the governor or premier of New South Wales, a state in which I live in and Newcastle is in. And he said that, having that symbol on a bedsheet is illegal now in this country, and it should be illegal to have it on your skin as well. Okay, I agree that it's extremely distasteful. Like, why anyone would subscribe to that ideology, it is far beyond me, but it's their body. What happened to my body, my choice?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be able to tattoo whatever the fuck you want on your body? I don't know. Am I outrageous because of that? Do I think, obviously it's extremely offensive to Jewish people. If you don't know, if you're a fucking absolute goose, the Yahtzee party did horrible things to the Jewish people. So obviously they're going to be outrageously upset about seeing something like that. But also, what do? Do you burn it off? Do you take that skin away from him? Do you arrest the person who did the actual tattoo? Where does it stop? And the most crazy thing, the most hilarious thing about this, and I've got something in the back of my mind about the people who, when an authoritarian government takes over, it's the people, I think it was North Korea, the people of North Korea are the ones that really enforce all the rules because they tell on all of their neighbors and the people they know if they break the rules. And this is what we saw from this guy.
Yeah, that's a bit,
Since it spotted the tattoos allegedly linked to white supremacist ideology.
seriously?
Pretty offensive.
That's crazy, isn't it? So this guy rang the police and said this guy's got a horrible tattoo. Let me just be absolutely clear. I think it's a horrible tattoo, but where does this end? It's a terrible tattoo. Awful. But where does this end? What does this lead to? If you are controlling people's thoughts and expressions to the point where you're outlawing tattoos they have on their body, where does that then go? Because it starts with the Yahtzees, and rightfully so. They're pieces of shit. But where does it go from there? We all have opinions that are a little bit offensive. Even the most woke of us, we have those opinions. At what point do those opinions become outlawed? This is the slippery slope, right? They start taking these things away from us, and it all sounds good, but they take it away, and they take little bits away, and all of a sudden, we have nothing left. We have no autonomy over our own bodies, over our own thoughts, over our own speech. And Australia is completely fucked when it comes to this. The left-wing government that's currently in charge of the entire country, they want to really, really push these hate speech laws, and they want to control what we can and cannot say.
Yep.
But you know what? During the very sick times of the 2020s, there was a right-wing government in, or slightly right, and they wanted to control us all by keeping us in our homes. So either way, we're fucked. I say this all the time, but we are slowly, well, maybe not so slowly anymore, but we're becoming England. We're becoming the UK. Over in the UK, you may not know this, but in 2023, there was 12,000 arrests for social media posts. 12,000. That's 30 a day. Now, some of those arrests were probably warranted, right? But a lot of them weren't. A lot of them were fucking ridiculous. Take the arrest of Graham Lineham. He was arrested at gunpoint over offensive trans-related posts. He questioned the transgender ideology, and he was arrested because of that. There's Count Dankula, who made his dog do a Yahtzee salute. He was arrested and taken to court and taken to jail over that. So where does this go for Australians? Are we now going to have to deal with this every time we
Seriously, arresting him for that? It's in poor taste. I'm not going to disagree, but I don't know if he should be arrested for it.
We post something that may or may not be offensive to someone, because remember, everything is offensive to someone. You would be amazed, and I am probably in the best position out of anyone I know to know this. There are people out there that will get offended by fucking anything, and they will go to the most ridiculous extremes to try and get those people who said that slightly offensive thing in trouble. And it's crazy, and it would blow your mind.
Yeah, I believe it.
When the Human Rights Commission of Queensland went after me for one complaint that they had from an Aboriginal lady because I made an Aboriginal joke, because I make jokes about fucking everybody. If that had happened in 2025 and not 2023, I could be in jail right now. That's fucking crazy. Personally, I feel if you're going to be arrested for social media posts, it should be for something as ridiculous as this.
Regardless of who the shooters were, regardless of their names, regardless of their ethnicity, however indirectly or directly, this is because of Israel.
No, it's
Israel
not.
Or
Got nothing. No. It's not because of Israel. It's them, you dumbass. You should not be in Australia. You should be kicked out. Friggin' thrown overseas or something.
less safe. This will be used to hurt more non-Jews.
Oh, come on. Seriously?
This is because of
This
Israel.
is so fake.
Shut the fuck up, mate. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me sticks Tulu of.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. There's one more video I'm going to watch, and then we're going to finish up today. We've done a lot today, guys. We've done about 3 videos, so it's good. And we've done probably about an hour and a half, so we did all right.
Australians are
At least now the channel's stable. It's not crashing every 5 seconds, so now I think YouTube's okay.
not safe anymore. They just aren't. That is an absolute fact. We are caught up with a weak government who refuse to put people behind bars when they need to be there, refuse to kick people out of the country who need to be removed, refuse to do the things that we are sitting here begging them to do. This government, the former government, the police commissioners, I'm not talking shit about the cops. No, I'm talking about the people in charge, the people who've never worked a hard day in their lives, the people who call the shots. They are not looking after you and they're not looking after me. This is a video that's going to dive deep into the horrors that is the judicial system and the immigration system that doesn't give a fuck about you or me and favors the criminals who exist in this country who are still here harming people every day. This is what Gardsard calls suicidal empathy, and it is on display for us all to see. Now, this story is going to shock all of you because it's not the run-of-the-mill story. Okay, the ones that seem to get all of the attention are usually about someone who happens to be from somewhere like Pakistan or the Middle East or somewhere where, you know, we expect violence to come from. And that's not talking shit about all the people from Pakistan or the Middle East or anywhere like that. That just happens to be the facts of the situation, okay? This is about a man who came from somewhere where white people live. He came from Scotland. And the reason that I wanted to cover this story is to show you how deep this shit runs. This isn't just about migrants from countries that happen to be brown people. This is what I've been talking about this entire time. I made a video in mid-2025 talking all about immigration being too high. And the thing is, when you have those conversations, people start saying you're racist. No, this is not about race. This is not about color. This is about numbers. This is about too many people coming into a country that cannot support that number of people with housing, with hospitals, whatever.
I've been saying that for ages.
We're talking about a man named Charles William.
All right, I've got to start looking at my phone. I think for the future, guys, I will have my phone somewhere else. So I keep looking at it because I get bored. I get like, I think I got ADHD or something, so.
A British-born Scottish massage therapist who lived in Queensland.
Yeah, what about him?
Of sexually assaulting and R-wording numerous female clients over a 12-year period from 2003 to 2015.
Damn.
There was about 26 women involved and one underage young girl. He showed absolutely no remorse for his crimes, and his initial sentence was in 2018. He was sentenced to 5 years and 6 months imprisonment. And then further convictions happened, and 4 years was added on top of that. Now, here's the insane thing. His visa was cancelled because it's mandatory. If someone commits a horrible crime like that, they get 12 plus months in prison for a serious crime. Generally, they have their visa cancelled.
Yeah, well, they should.
Administrative Appeals Tribunal. He had in 2024, February 2024, he had his visa reinstated and he was allowed to remain in Australia.
Yeah, no.
For such a long time because his entire life was Australia, because his family was here, because everything was here, and sending him back to Scotland or sending him back to Britain, where he came from, go back to where you came from. That would have been unfair to him and his family and the people in his life. From what I have read on the subject,
I don't give a shit.
That's completely fucked. Here's why I wanted to make a video on this particular subject. It just goes to show that, you know, a lot of people claim that they're just trying to, the government's just trying to help out people who happen to have brown skin and they're just going to look after them because they're scared of the outcome. And that may be so in some situations. They don't want to appear racist. They don't want to appear like they're bigots. But in this case, it's so obvious that they're all just fucking retarded, that they can't fucking run a department, that there's no communication between the judicial system and the correction system and the police. There's like the powers that be. And this is not talking about, you know, people who work in prisons. This is not talking about your average Joe. We're talking about the tops, the heads, the head honchos.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
They don't talk to each other. That's just absolutely blows my mind in this situation where you've got someone attacking people, removing their, like destroying their soul by doing these horrible offences, these horrible attacks, and yet they're allowed to stay in Australia. The only reason that there was anything done about this was because there was public outcry. If this didn't come to light, if the journalists who broke the story didn't break the story, then no one would have cared. And I bet that this whole fucking thing was leaked from the opposition or something like that in government, and that's why this actually got to the media in the first place. God, that's fucking gross. That's what that is. Fucking gross. And
Oh,
the reason all
definitely.
this actually happened is because of this thing called Ministerial Direction 99. It happened because of the then Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, and basically she was sick of Australia sending back New Zealand criminals back to New Zealand who were living in Australia for a long period of time. And basically what came from this was Australia, because they had a strict approach. Like, if you spent 12 months in jail, you're going home, fuckface. But after this, they stopped doing that. And that seems absolutely insane. Like, if you're not born here and you're a visitor in our country and you commit a crime, fuck off. I don't care where you're from.
Yep,
Fuck off.
true.
There were a lot of people who benefited from this. It wasn't just a Scottish bloke. Emmanuel Saki, who was accused of murder. He was from Sudan. His visa was automatically cancelled in 2019. He was reinstated in 2024 because he'd been in Australia for so long.
Oh,
And then,
God.
weeks after being released from the immigration detention in April 2024, he was arrested and charged with murder, accused of fatally stabbing a 22-year-old man in Brisbane in May 2024. Allegedly.
What the hell?
Another fuckhead who was attacked children sexually. He was a New Zealand-born man. Direction 99 allowed him to stay in Australia because he had all these connections with Australia. There was a
I don't care about your connections. If you're from overseas and you do anything shitty, you should be kicked out. I don't care what the other country says.
Chilean pedo. He was born in Chile and he moved to Australia in 1987 at the age of 29. He avoided deportation under Direction 99 despite horrific crimes that he committed against kids. There was another one. There's a Chinese dude as well. Like, there's just so many of these.
It sounds like the whole list.
Thankfully, this fucking Direction 99, which, let's be honest, how the fuck did that even get into play in the first place? That's madness.
Oh, that's
Our
gotta be on the
Australian
left.
Prime Minister at the time, he was the Prime Minister when this took place, he decided that something needed to be done. There needed to be a rapid overhaul of Direction 99. There was revocation of Direction 99 on June the 21st, 2024. It was revoked and it was replaced with a new directive that corrects its perceived weaknesses. This marks a reversal of the more lenient policy, and this was the introduction of Direction 110. Now, this was supposed to, basically change the way we looked at criminals who were born in other countries. However, just last week, we see this. An Indian IT worker spared deportation despite sexually assaulting 17 women.
I would knock him out.
IT worker who avoided jail despite sexually
I
assaulting
mean, I'm
17
getting
women
sick of
and
these guys. I would punch him out.
deportation. David Arokij Maria Anthony fucking dude. You should be deported for that name. 35 has had his visa
Yeah, he should be
cancelled in
deported for
September,
that
appealed
name.
the decision at the Administrative Review Tribunal, which ruled in his favour earlier this month under the Labor federal government's Ministerial Direction 110. Obviously, it's not as powerful as they thought. The tribunal found it was highly relevant that County Court Judge Peter Rosen had decided not to jail Ryan or place him on the sex offenders registry and determined he was a very low risk of reoffending. So fucking what? The tribunal took into account the effect of deportation on his 3-year-old daughter. Okay, that's sad for the daughter, no doubt, but also too fucking bad. Your dad does a horrible thing. He gets kicked out of the fucking country. The tribunal also found that Ryan's mental health would be negatively impacted if he was removed. Of course, who gives a fuck?
I was gonna say, who cares?
Fucking bad. He was already getting therapy for depression and anxiety. Too fucking bad. You're the one who is the fucking criminal here. Like, Jesus Christ. And if you were interested in what actually happened, the only information we have is he targeted 18 women at a nightclub in Paran in Melbourne on September the 23rd, 15th of October and the 21st of October in 2023. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are we scared of here? Why don't we, as a people, revolt against this? We should be angry that our government doesn't do more. Why is there so much bureaucracy involved in this? Why can't the police have more powers? Why can't we deport criminals once they've committed crimes in this country? It is absolutely beyond me that we have no ability to protect ourselves in this country at all. We can't have pepper spray, there's no weapons, there's no nothing, and yet we still have criminals walking around because we want to protect their kids, because if they remove them, it's going to hurt their mental health. Too fucking bad. This video really pissed me off. And I wanted to really get through it because I know that this video probably deserved a longer runtime, but with YouTube, if you have it too long, people drop off, they don't listen to all the facts and the figures. And when I had all this information here, there's so much to go through. The general TLDR of this is, it had a shit law in place. That law allowed people to take advantage of it through that tribunal, have their visas reinstated, and they came out with 1110, which was going to change the world, and it fucking didn't. It's not strong enough. Ladies and gentlemen, we need in this country, we need the ability to turn people away like America does. America doesn't give a fuck. To get into America, I had to prove that I was an alien of extraordinary ability to go and do comedy shows over there and sell tickets. Why don't we have the same process when it comes to Australia? People should absolutely be able to prove that they're not a criminal, that they're a good person, and that they bring something to this country. And if we can't do that, if you can't do that, and you want to come over here, too fucking bad. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Be dick stinks.
I can't totally agree with him. I mean, this one is a really bad one because it shows you how weak our laws are, but nothing new for me. I am disgusted on it, guys. That's why I just don't get as angry as he does, because inside me is how it feels. He basically, he's like how I feel. That's basically it. All right.